Here come a whole bunch of Marines pressing up through the middle of the map, trying to kill off creep. There are some Zerglings here that are going to stop these Marines from retreating, but a little bit of bad army control. Here come a whole bunch of Banelings that are going to detonate on these Marines. That's a huge detonation. Another detonation on the Marines, and those Zerglings did their job by stopping the Marines from retreating by getting a nice surround on there. HayprO is still a little bit behind in terms of supply, but he can afford to make those army trades, because if you can kill all the Marines for the Terran player, all of a sudden these tanks are completely exposed. Mutalisks can fly in and do whatever they want. There's now a Greater Spire coming up. Crackling upgrades coming down for the Zerglings of HayprO. There's going to be a Nubatized Carapace, which basically means it's Overlord speed, as well as Neural Parasite. Tarson's ready to move up here, trying to get aggressive and see what he can do with these Marines. He does not want to overstim here, because he's a little slim on Medivacs. Nice fungal growth in conjunction with these Banelings. So you can see the Infestors are making their presence known now. There's 7 Corruptors out, which will very likely be Broodlords as soon as you can afford it. Another engagement here. Big fungal growth on top of all these Marines, and you can see him completely erase that army. But there's still too many Marines here for these Mutalisks to try and deal with. He's losing a ton of Mutalisks. He needs to really take out these tanks as fast as he possibly can before they're able to retreat. 58 Zerglings are now on the way, so HayprO's really reinforcing this well. Tarson's kind of in a bad spot here. He lost his supply advantage. You can see how powerful Infestors are against this composition. So, yeah, you can see if you can hold those Marines in place, whether it's with just Zerglings or with Infestors fungal growths, those Banelings are really amazing against those Marines. Just one hit a whole bunch of Marines that can't possibly retreat. So it's really bad if you're a Terran player, really good if you're Zerg. Tarson actually is just now getting his 4th base established. His natural is about mined out. His 3rd is still mining pretty well, and he cannot take a 5th until he gets rid of this Overlord, which doesn't seem like a big deal, but it can be extremely annoying if you're not already checking to get rid of that stuff in advance. There's actually 4 Ghosts on the way for Tarson trying to deal with those Infestors. We'll see if he's able to. And it could also be to try to deal with these Broodlords, since I'm sure he expected that transition, whether he's been scouting or not inside HayprO's base. Let's see if I can find the Greater Spire, which is right here. See if Tarson actually has knowledge of that being up. He does see the Spire, so I mean, well, he knew the Spire was there initially, but he does not see the Greater Spire. Up come the Broodlords to join the rest of this army, and if you get Broodlords on top of Marines with siege tank fire, that's going to basically end the Marines, since the tanks are just going to blow up their own units. There's a pretty large drop coming back here. This kind of seems like a little bit of a desperation drop from Tarson, almost as if he needs this drop to do a lot of damage in order to stay in this game. Good work with these Medivacs to not reveal them to the low ground, and HayprO can actually not see this drop coming. A big engagement here in the middle, though. Tarson's units are completely out of position. Here come the Broodlords pressing up really hard. You can actually outrange these Broodlords by just a little bit, so good snipes are going off here on the Broodlords to weaken them just a little bit, but I don't think he has enough to deal with this, especially since the fungal growths are really wasting these Vikings. There are 4 Broodlords in the air, which kind of seems like an insurmountable lead. Tarson's pushing in here as hard as he can to try and deny HayprO from mining. HayprO's still maxed anyway, so there's no way that Tarson's going to be able to keep this up. 110 Zerglings are on the way. I've never seen that many Zerglings in production before. Tarson's trying as hard as he can to stay in this game, but all these Zerglings just, it looks like they just multiply out of the hatcheries and come at you so fast that there's really nothing you could do. So Tarson's base is getting sieged. His front door is going to fall, and these Broodlords will have free reign. A couple of Ghosts are coming up here to try and snipe the weaker Infestors, or rather the weaker Broodlords. Up comes some Marines too. He may actually do some pretty good work with these Marines. He needs to target fire the Broodlords though, rather than the Broodlings. So he kills off a whole bunch of Broodlords, so pretty good effectiveness out of those Marines. But fungal growth comes up and is going to kill the rest of these Marines, and these Medivacs are going to fall shortly thereafter. More snipes are going off for these Ghosts, and this Ghost, I think, has enough for a couple more snipes, so really needs to kill that Broodlord off, but the Marines do the job anyway. So Tarson is still scraping by here, and he did kill a decent amount of income for HayprO, but nevertheless, HayprO still has a base that's virtually not mining all that much at all. So HayprO is still in a pretty good economic state, but HayprO is now up by 29 supply. So you can see Tarson now moving out with another Marine drop, trying to just do as much as he possibly can with these Marines as sort of a last resort. But there's 10 Infestors that are about to spawn, and 10 fungal growths at all is just going to be devastating for Terran to try and deal with, considering how much it just wrecks up Marines. There's a big Zergling counterattack here, but the SCVs do pull off in time to repair that planetary fortress. Zerglings do press up here, and these Zerglings may actually clean up this army because there's almost nothing here for the Terran player. But no, I'm actually wrong. He did not send as many Zerglings as I thought that he had out, so my bad. There's a small drop here by Tarson in the main to try and get some tech down, but he's not microing this drop very well. You want to get in there and kill the tech if you possibly can, but Zerglings are going to swarm over here and clean this up as fast as they possibly can. Fungal growths go down on top of these medevacs, and they'll kill these pretty easily. You can actually just puke out a couple of infested Terrans rather than wasting fungal growths on that. But he actually lets the medevac get away. Oh no, and then Tarson just sits it there and lets it die. Here comes another Marine drops heading into this expansion here for HayPro. And during all this, Tarson's actually gained the supply lead, so these drops are actually doing a decent amount in conjunction with the amount of earlier economic damage that it had done to HayPro. A bunch of infested Terrans are coming out here. This dropship is going to be toast as down it goes. Up presses Tarson just a little bit. HayPro has remade his Broodlords, so he's ready to roll again, but Tarson has a ton of ghosts that are all cloaked and are moving in here, and he does not have any detection, so these ghosts could do a lot of work. Huge snipes all over the Broodlords. 2 Broodlords fall to Ghostfire. If you're these ghosts, you probably need to run away now. Yep, and 2 of them get caught, but they were energy-less ghosts anyway, so that's just fine. You definitely don't want to lose ghosts if you can help it, but the fact that they already did their job is very, very good for Tarson at this point. Sounds like our music died. Okay, they're starting up now again. Here comes a bunch more upgrades coming down here. Zerg Flyer Carapace level 3 is on the way. Snipe, I believe, actually just ignores armor anyway, so that's kind of a strange upgrade. +3 for Tarson's bio is on the way. They're still both just kind of macroing out armies. And HayPro is getting into the stage where he has nothing but Broodlords and Infestors on the field, which I'm sure you'll have many Terrans say that they hate that composition because there's really almost no way to deal with that, except for really good ghost work. Here comes another small drop from Tarson. Again, doing pretty well with these little Marine drops, but this drop is definitely going to get cleaned up in no time. Down go all those Marines, and his dropship is just accepting their fate, standing around waiting to die, apparently. Tarson's now making another command center. He has established this expansion. It's going to be a planetary fortress in just a little bit. There are a ton more Broodlords morphing, so I don't know if Tarson's really going to be able to recover from all this. There are 10 Broodlords out. Another couple, rather 4 more are morphing right now. Excuse me, this is actually an Overseer, so that's 3 more, just so we can spot those ghosts. But if you're Tarson at this point, you really need to just pump out ghosts as fast as you possibly can, considering they're going to be your most effective ranged unit against these Broodlords. Either that or go for Vikings, but the Vikings clump up so badly and can be fungal so easily by these infestors that it just doesn't always work. Tarson's actually throwing up a sensor tower in the middle of the map, which I really like, just to prevent any sneak attacks from any sort of infestors that may be burrowed and coming in there to drop off some cheap stuff. Oh, a big mistake here by these medevacs, getting caught out of position, and they're going to get fungal to death. As you can see, HayPro just dropping them over and over until they're dead. And Tarson actually could have gotten those away, maybe to some tank support or something, so that the infestors just didn't kill them. There's also a nuke on the way for Tarson, as well as 3 more Ghost Academies. So Tarson is transitioning into late-game nukes, which I honestly I don't even know if I've ever seen that against Zerg in a high-level game before. But if it works, and he's able to nuke this Broodlord army by some miracle, that will be devastating, and HayPro will be dead if that happens. So we'll see exactly what happens with those nukes. He's obviously committing pretty hard to it. 6 barracks are also on the way to fund his ghost production. As you can see them all dropping right here. 2 Marines are ready to clear out this expansion for Tarson. So this is shaping up to be an extremely long and extremely good game. But up comes HayPro's Broodlords in order to try to kill these. Look at how many ghosts are on the field right now. That is 12 ghosts, which can snipe down these Broodlords really easily. And if you can get these Broodlords to overcommit and snipe them off as quickly as possible, that would be great for Tarson. He needs to be careful, though, because his own siege tanks are killing him at the moment. Big fungal growth goes down on this bio, but it's not actually going to kill it. So this is the point in which Terran really needs to figure something out in order to stop this. This ghost is coming in here cloaked. I'm not sure exactly what he's trying to do. If he can EMP all these infestors, that will be huge, but the Overseer actually sees it and kills him. So the Terran player is just struggling to hold on here as hard as he can. A bunch of snipes are going to go off here, most likely. No, they're not going off as quickly as they could have. Big, huge EMPs go down on top of these infestors, but the Broodlords are now unchecked, as all these Marines are definitely going to die to their own siege tank fire. So those were some good EMPs, but Tarson's just so far behind right now. I think he just dropped too many EMPs on top of that army. Here comes the Cloak Ghost moving out here. I'm not really sure what his objective is, but he needs to... I think right now you need to call down some defensive nukes and hold this off for as long as possible. We're going to see a nuke is now coming down, and I can't tell exactly where it's going to be landing. It's going to be landing here at this expansion for HayprO. Tarson just trying to buy as much time as possible in order to hold this off. The nuke is going to land, but HayprO actually realizes where it is. It's going to kill the larva and a spine crawler, but that's it. A bunch of SCVs are transferring. They're all going to get fungal growth, so that is devastating for Tarson to lose that many SCVs all in one little drop right there. And Tarson goes down to the Infestor Broodlord play of Liquid's HayprO. I think that I think Tarson made a few mistakes there. He did play well, but it felt like he was behind for quite a while once he lost that engagement in the middle of the map. And again, you can see how powerful Infestors are in conjunction with the rest of the Zerg army, in conjunction with Broodlords or Banelings. It's really, really hard to deal with that composition right now, and I don't know if people will start to figure it out, or if new strategies will start emerging that will punish Zergs so hard that they're just not able to get that composition up. So we will see exactly how the metagame evolves in this matchup in particular. But I hope you guys enjoyed that game. I'll be back for more casts very soon. I'll see you guys later.